I don't want employees sitting with cash. Cash means Porsches. And Porsches mean he's going to be in trouble.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Investing Guide. Grant Cardone is a well-established and pretty successful businessman. He's also a lifestyle coach and financial influencer, and he has invested in a number of different ventures, but his main source of income comes from real estate and his money management company, Cardone Capital. It is no secret that a large number of huge industries saw unbelievable dips across the past year due to the pandemic. Cardone Capital was heavily affected as many of Grant's housing tenants struggled to pay rent, meaning that Grant Cardone was forced to fire many of his employees. However, there have been a lot of rumors and speculation surrounding how exactly Grant went about releasing his employees. Many are stating that he didn't follow the law and hasn't offered appropriate compensation. We have taken a very close look at the situation. What we found out will definitely surprise you, so make sure you stick around until the end of the video. We've gone through both sides of the story, and you might not like the facts that we have to share. Cardone has millions of followers around the planet, so the magnet pulls the criticism. There has been a lot of criticism against Cardone and how he runs his company, especially that of Jordan Belfort. The Wolf of Wall Street went on record and publicly criticized Grant. Things started getting heavy on March 19th when ex-employees of Cardone Capital started revealing that Grant Cardone had started firing people without any previous notice or compensation, which is potentially illegal, but this was just the tip at the iceberg. These contract terminations were happening all across the offices and ended up being 80 out of the total 180 employees. He actually closed down an entire division, the advertising contracts department of Cardone Capital. In total, that is like a solid 45% of his total work base. Ex-employees went on to state that there was this huge team meeting on the day with departments just getting let go. It looks like Grant Cardone decided to go with the classic, ripping off the bandage method. To add insult to injury, letters were also being passed out to certain employees from the attorneys at Cardone Capital. These letters basically tried to stop people from pursuing Grant Cardone in court over their pretty unfair termination. The greatest criticism to Mr. Cardone over this time was the gross collision between his role as a social media and lifestyle influencer versus his actual success as a businessman. If you were to head onto Twitter or Instagram on the 19th, you would no doubt catch Grant Cardone flexing his private jet, his limousine, many cars, and his awesome super rich lifestyle, all while his company fired 80 people potentially illegally on the exact same day he flexed on social media. Many people have found this sort of behavior to be absolutely outrageous. And that's the thing, many companies did suffer over the lockdown. It was not an easy thing for many people. Thousands were losing their jobs, companies were losing billions. But to just flaunt your riches in this time, to treat your old employees so poorly, many people did not respect the actions of Grant Cardone over that time. The harsh reality of it is that Grant Cardone may not be as wealthy as he claims to be. Sure, he attempts to show us his billionaire lifestyle, but a closer look at the man reveals that he operates on a lot of borrowed capital. Many millions from investors, money still owed to the bank. Cardone seems to have built an empire, but he might really just be on top of a house of cards. Cardone actually owes his company a fair amount of money. Although the severance package is reported to be as little as legally obtained, the traditional 3-month salary plus 6 months COBRA healthcare benefits have been pushed aside with the threat of legal action. Now that is potentially a clear sign of a deeper and more troubling business performance issue, or just outright greediness, but we will explain we don't believe it to be the latter. Right now, Cardone Capital manages around $1.7 billion worth of assets, a pretty impressive number, but in real estate, things are often a lot more bloated than they may seem. Operating on about an 85% leverage, the cracks might be starting to show. Historically, Cardone has gone on record stating that his business operates on a bullish concept of a 15% vacancy rate. During the pandemic, people refused to leave their houses. In fact, in some states, evictions have been made illegal over that time. Combine that with the fact that about 50% of people aren't paying rent. The thing about the kind of syndicated business of Cardone Capital is that these real estate services might prefer high-paying tenants over high-quality tenants. Cardone Capital, for example, would prefer someone paying more than the market value. This number would look better on their books, whereas most landlords would charge less because the quality of the tenant would be better. It will be long-term and the payments will be coming in due to more stable jobs, rental history, credit score, etc. The fears we have seem pretty legitimate. Even on Cardone's private Twitter feed, he has gone out and stated that he is desperately looking for tenants for most of his properties. He seems quite desperate, and the cost of the housing seems to be heavily reduced. I don't think it is too unbelievable to see that Mr. Cardone is feeling pretty heavy pressure from people he owes money to. When looking closely at the trail of debt that Grant Cardone and the heavily indebted Cardone Capital have created, you start to get a very familiar picture. He's facing the same issue many faced during the global financial crisis. Seriously, aggressive investing, highly leveraged business model, real estate, high pop tenants, it could be a disaster waiting to happen. And the attitude of Grant Cardone leading up to this mass firing of employees definitely reflects that. Cardone Capital was signing up for interest-only debt, paying market value, overpaying to secure deals. This kind of reckless spending and attitude is something that many larger institutes have tried to avoid doing due to the global financial crisis. There could be little to no liquidity within the business model of Cardone Capital. There was no ability to just cash out and withdraw funds. Many investors and debtors seem extremely concerned regarding the performance of the company. Why else would Grant Cardone himself use his own personal Twitter to outright ask for tenants? Mr. Grant Cardone is also known as Mr. 10 Times. This is his general attitude and lifestyle that he uses all across social media as an influencer. He used to promote 10 times spending, 10 times money, 10 times dreams, and a 10 times lifestyle. But the ironic thing appears to be the 10 times attitude has caused all of Cardone's companies, Cardone Capital, Cardone Ventures, and Cardone University, to grow large. Potentially, as the real estate company, like many other real estate companies during the pandemic, they're all struggling. This kind of spending, attitude, and reinvestment is great in a healthy, bullish economy. But when we see a financial collapse, it is a very different story. Cardone has claimed multiple times that his business at Cardone Capital is recession-proof. From what we can see, that may not be the case. But Grant Cardone hasn't been silent on the matter. He's attempted to calm and reassure his many fans, supporters, and investors. Before we get into it though, we want to hear how you're liking this video so far. Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to share this along with any Grant Cardone or real estate investors you may know. And of course, smash that like button. Cardone chose to go on record the day after the mass terminations at Cardone Capital, stating that he is expecting many trillions of dollars to come out from the government to assist the workforce. This was received poorly and was heavily criticized. He later attempted to be more personal on a video, in which he tried to reflect the weight of a serious decision that he was forced to make in this stressful time. This second video statement appears to be very legitimate and very sincere. Is Grant Cardone being honest, or is this a well-planned apology? A public figure such as Mr. 10 Times needs both a successful business and a positive response on social media. The man is trying to help his brand, but he also might be trying to make people forget that he fired 80 people without any notice in a single day and then served them legal documents. Although Cardone may be personally wealthy, the fact of the matter is that his leveraged assets house around 8,000 families. If Cardone goes under and those properties are repossessed, what exactly happens to those people? The levels of homelessness due to the reckless business strategies of a single man could be devastating. Furthermore, Cardone is in debt to around 3,200 investors, both large and small, that he owes a considerable amount of money to, upwards of $4 million a month. These people are expecting dividends paid out. Banks are expecting loans to be repaid. We're starting to get a glimpse into the sort of twisted financial mess that Grant Cardone has found himself in. While you're here, check out one of these two videos on your screen.